Ah. You know, when they wanted to kill Joab, he went and hung to the altar. Joab understood the principles. There was one other man who went and hung to the altar. They brought him out. He said, don't hang to the altar. Please come. Joab spoke. Solomon said, kill him there. Kill him there. He has done enough evil. He has rebelled against the person who appointed him as general. Then before the Lord, our God is a consuming fire. If God says a place is purified, a place is sanctified, and so nobody should die there, God himself can kill somebody there. Because the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. God himself was the one who ordered the building of the temple. And it was so beautiful that the Lord Jesus Christ, when the disciples were admiring the beauty, he said, a time will come when one stone will not be upon another. And when the Romans invaded Jerusalem and they got to the temple, they were told that there was gold in between the bricks. So the Romans removed the bricks one by one, so that the prophecy of the Lord Jesus Christ was fulfilled. No stone was left on top of the other. They did not break any two of the bricks together. One by one, they removed them one by one, so that the prophecy was fulfilled. God told them, he said, you see, this beautiful place that I told you to make, he said, a time will come, if you disobey me, I will handle it as if it's rubbish. When people pass there, they will hiss. They will say, what happened to this place? And others will tell them, the people who built it for the Lord rebelled against him. That is why their God has turned this whole beautiful place into a rubbish dump. There is nothing so beautiful that God makes us to make that is beautiful enough for him not to destroy. There's not. There's not. When you see a father telling his son, don't marry a girl primarily because she is beautiful, the father is experienced. He's experienced because he knows that as time goes on, whatever you see as the beauty will begin to change. Begin to change its shape and form. And so if you marry somebody, particularly because of particular structures of beauty, then later when the thing changes, you start looking for another person. And the wise man says, favor is deceitful, beauty is vain. That the woman that fears the Lord, she shall be praised. The beauty of a woman is not external, it is internal. It's inside. It's inside. It's that one that cannot be destroyed. The one that doesn't change. It even gets more and more beautiful as the woman gets more and more consecrated to the Almighty God. So let's never think that God allows us to get to a point of prominence, a point of beauty, a point of honor, a point of wealth, and then God begins to fear us. That we are now so beautiful that He can't destroy us. Remember the picture they painted about Lucifer. And yet the Bible says he will go down to the pit, to the sides of hell. There is nothing that is too beautiful for God to destroy. Nadab and Abihu offered strange fire to God. And God, who answers by fire, answered them by fire and consumed them and did not wait for them to go outside that altar where they were offering the incense before they died. They died right there. It didn't matter to God. Brethren, it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. You must learn to walk with God. And these morning sessions are deeper than the night sessions. And so we must make up our minds, prepare our hearts for God to teach us, and also for God to touch us, for God to help us, so that we can live the way God wants us to live. Because the key thing about ministry is not what you know how to do. It is not what you can do. It is what you can be, not what you can do. As you get on the ministry, you need to learn it. I was telling some people, I don't know whether it was here or whatever. I preached my first sermon in February 1971. So at least it's 46 years that I started preaching. I preached to a fellowship where there were about 400 girls. I was so nervous. But after that, the people who took me there said I had to preach the next Sunday at the scripture union. They said that God has given us a preaching. It is not what you can do. It is not by might nor by power. True ministry is what you can be. If you allow God to break you, power will flow through your life, irrespective of your temperament. Doesn't matter whether you are a sanguine who makes friends with everybody, or whether you are a choleric who raises projects where nobody expects it can be done. The choleric will do it. Or whether you are a melancholic who is a specialist in analysis, or whether you are a phlegmatic who is a cool-headed chairman, it doesn't matter. Your temperament is not important, or a mixture of those temperaments is not important. What is important is what you can be. Let God break you. There are many things in us that propel us to do what God has not sent us to do. God forbid that you should do what God has not sent you to do. And as I said that now, I had a voice, emotions. As if our emotions are the key culprit, making us to do what God has not sent us to do. Are you a bundle of emotion? Or a bundle of the power of the Spirit of God? Emotions. When we feel angry, we preach out of anger. When we feel proud, we preach out of pride. When we feel we must be honored, we preach with an imposition of honor upon the people. Why can't we humble ourselves, allow God to break us up, so that God, the Spirit, can flow through us? Why can't we relax in the Spirit of God? If God tells you to say something that is contrary to how you are feeling, you obey Him, so that you do not offer strange fire. Because God can still answer strange fire with fire. Pure fire can fall on strange fire, destroy the strange fire, and destroy the carrier of the strange fire. Because God has not changed. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. He is Lord forever. God have mercy on us. Please let us pray. Let us pray. We feel somehow. Let us just talk to God. Let's ask God for mercy. Let's ask God for mercy. Have mercy on us, Lord. Have mercy on us. Father, we just want to be your ministers. We are not even qualified. You know. Father, you know. You know that we are not qualified. And Lord, we know that we are not qualified. We are not qualified to be ministers of your word. We are vessels of mercy, like Moses said. We are vessels of mercy. Father, would you have mercy upon us? Oh Lord, would you have mercy upon us? Lord, would you please have mercy upon us? Oh Lord, have mercy upon me. Have mercy upon my beloved brethren. For every one of us that is here. Oh God, God of gods, Lord of gods, please have mercy upon us. Help us, oh God. Help us to calm our emotions. It's not immediately we have the microphone, we start pouring out emotions. God have mercy on us. God have mercy on us. Help us to be real with you. To be real. Totally submitted to your spirit. Father, help us. Help us. But every time we have the microphone, we begin to pour ourselves on people. Lord, it's the outpouring of your spirit that we need, not the outpouring of ourselves. It's your spirit. God, have mercy on us. Please have mercy on us. Please remember us today. Remember us today and have mercy on us. Be gracious to us, O God. Be compassionate to us, O Father. Help us. Help us, Lord. Help us, Lord. If you don't help us, what will we do? Lord, what will we do? If you don't help us, where do we go? We can't go anywhere. We can't do anything. We cannot be effective. Oh God, if you don't help us, we are up to nothing. Oh God, have mercy upon us, Father. God, have mercy upon us. God, have mercy upon us. Blessed be the shield and strength to the right Oh, brethren, even as we are praying, I'm still seeing the same thing. Some people's emotions are right in front of them. The emotions are right in front of them. No matter what happens, the first thing that manifests is the emotions. The first thing that poses is the emotions. God have mercy on us. It's not that we should be emotionless. But part of the fruits of the Spirit is self-control. Self-control. And some are so driven by their emotions that when you check them out, it appears as if they have some slight mental problem. Someone driven too much by emotion has a slight mental problem. It's mentally unstable because it's emotionally unstable. Oh God, will you revive us again, Father, for your mercy's sake? Would you look down from heaven, oh God, upon us in mercy? Will you be gracious to us? Would you help us, Father? Help us. Oh God. Why can't we just follow the truth? Why can't we just humble ourselves before the truth? Why can't we feel what God is feeling? Is that how Jesus 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 is feeling? I don't know if it was excessive emotion that misled Nadab and Abihu. Whatever it was, they did what God did not command. God answered strange fire by pure fire. Oh God. Let's ask God for mercy so that we do not offer strange fire. Oh God, let strange fire be far from me, especially in the ministry of the word. Let strange fire be far from me, O God, especially in the ministry of the word. There is a man sent from God whose name was John. We are sent as oracles, not as orators. Oh God, have mercy upon us. Have mercy upon us. Take strange fire far from us. Oh God, far from me, far from me. Bless your holy name, O God. Our God, our Maker, our Creator, the Potter, we are the clay and the potter. Bless your holy name. Thank you, Jesus. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. We read the other verses, we find out that somebody that is destroyed by the fire of God should not disrupt the ministry on the altar. Their father was to continue his ministry. The anointing was upon him. He was to replace them by his other sons, Eliezer and Ipam. Soldier go, soldier come. Soldier go, soldier come. Soldier go, soldier come. May God not reject us in the name of Jesus Christ. One of the days I was reading 1 Samuel, when Samuel brought to Jesse's house, I saw the first Samuel. I said, surely this one will be the king of Israel. The Lord said, no, I have rejected him. I have rejected him. So don't go out on the door of the tabernacle for the congregation. If not, you will die. You go out and start putting hand on your head, crying for your son, you will follow them. When God is angry, the best thing to do is to align with God. So there is an anointing. The anointing oil is upon you. So you must follow what God wants. Go and we'll get to your cousins, the children of your cousin. They will go and bury him. The others can mourn for them. If not you, Aaron. Not you, Eliezer, not you, Ipam. So strange fire is broader than we think. And I actually want us to passionately against strange fire in our hearts and in our lives. I'll mention a few things that are strange fire, and sometimes we don't even recognize them in the church when they come. And I call them strange fire because sometimes they are in the church and some people don't know. One spirit that is very difficult to differentiate from the prophetic grace is the spirit of divination. Divination is strange fire. And one of the things coming to my mind now is that one of the ways you know the spirit of divination in a man is that if he is born again, the thing started before he was born again. That defining spirit started before he was born again. It either started before he was born again, or he did something. He entered into certain agreement or paid certain prices or made contact with certain people that began to generate the spirit of divination. I tell people, brethren, that you see, there are some nice evil spirits. There are some nice evil spirits. And sometimes in the world, we call them fairies. And they can appear to somebody. They are very nice. Many times, they don't come to destroy the body. They can come to somebody, make the person rich, allow the person to have children, make the person even live long. But all they ensure is that the person doesn't go to heaven. That's all they ensure. So many of the people who understand them well and interact with them and delve into their operations practice what is called white magic. And I think in Yoruba land you have what we call, is it awo or something like that? Awo, which is different from the other one. There's another one. There is one that is white. No, there is one that is white. There is one, the name that you call the ones that you might say is black magic that they operate. So, Babalawo is Babalawo.
Yes.
But I know that in Yoruba land there is white magic. Even in Igbo land, there are those who also practice white magic. In their own, they will tell you, I don't kill you, I don't kill you, I don't do evil. But they never know the salvation of God. Before I got born again, I went to many white garment churches. And in many of them, it was the spirit of divination. There was one young man called Emmanuel. His church was the one I used to like most, because he had a meeting every evening, and at the end of it we all ate rice. Give us rice every day. And why it was exciting to me was because in our house we used to eat rice only on Wednesdays and Sundays. Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Sunday night, Monday morning. Those were the times we used to eat rice in our house. At least the time I was young. But later on, they were eating rice more freely. In our time, it wasn't like that. So I had where I was eating rice every day. And this young man called Emmanuel, sometimes we were up to 70 in the church. He will see a vision for every one of us. And his accuracy level was dramatic. When I introduced him to my mother, he became my mother's prophet. My mother used to like them a lot. Anywhere she saw any of them, she would hire that one. Emmanuel was very accurate. Later on, I don't know what they said, he did with 6 and 7 books of Moses. Started having problems. Manuel had money. He had no other job apart from that, seeing vision for people every evening. He had his own house. It's comfortable. He never married. Just stayed in his own. Divination. And some of us are thinking of maybe the Babbalawos and so on, not just to that extent. There are some times that the devil can approach a child of God, a minister of the gospel, as an angel of light, and can influence you. And you might delve into divination. I will still tell the story of what happened one of the days I was playing golf in my house. I was playing golf and I saw somebody who passed through the gate without opening it. So when I now got up and looked, I couldn't see the person. So I continued what I was playing. But I knew somebody entered my gate without opening the gate. I knew it. So I took a shot at the hole, and the ball passed the hole with about 6 inches. There's no way a ball that has passed a hole with up to 6 inches will go back to it, unless the place is so slopey that is almost upside down. But this ball, when it passed the hole, it went in the air. It went in the air backwards and entered inside the hole. I said, "Oh, to you." I said, "What is this? Which kind of golf is this one?" So I did as if I did not see that one. I took another shot. At least I'm the owner of the place. I know the ground. I know how the balls move. I know how to predict the ball as it's moving unless it hits a stone. This one did not hit any stone. And because of the slope of the ground, I missed the hole a bit, so the ball was supposed to diverge and go far from the hole. Instead, it converged and entered the hole. I said, "This is the second one." I carried the remaining balls. I said, "I'm not playing again." Which type of golf is this one? As I carried my remaining balls, I passed the sitting room and got to my room. That time my room door had a problem. It used to hook. So sometimes even when you're trying to open it, it may not open at first try, it may do second one. But as I got to the door opened of its own accord and opened very wide to the end of it. I was very suspicious. Because at that time, it was just after God had spoken to me that miracles are easy. So miracles are easy. So I was saying, even if I will have miracles, is it golf miracle? Miracle of golf ball coming backward. They are more serious things. If God is sending me an angel, I don't expect the angel to come and it's all these petty things we are going to be doing. So because a number of times that's what the spirit of divination does. That's why the Bible says that we are to cast out every unclean spirit. It doesn't matter how nice an evil spirit is. As long as that spirit is unclean, you cast it out. I had to resist that particular spirit. It lingered for a while until I started praying against it. I told you, I resist you in the name of Jesus. Get out. Don't want you. Every unclean spirit must be resisted. How do you know the spirit of divination? Spirit of divination can operate through anybody, but it operates more frequently through those who are bundles of emotions. Because their feelings can generate any kind of thing, any kind of vision. But it is beyond emotion. Divination is beyond emotion. Divination is an interaction with certain spirits that are not primarily destructive to the physical body, but they are destructive to the soul. Like the woman in, I think it's Acts chapter 16 or so, that Paul had to cast out the spirit of divination. You saw that she was accurate. What she was saying was accurate. If she was not accurate, the people will not be making money from her. But we don't want divination in the church. It is strange fire. It's of the devil. And I mean it's of the devil. It is of the devil. Nobody should ever try to mix it with the Spirit of God. It may operate sometimes and produce results that look as if it's the result of the Spirit of God, but it is not the Spirit of God. It is an unclean spirit. It is of the devil. Divination is of the devil. It's an evil spirit. And don't you ever submit to it because of its accuracy. If you resist it, it will start shaking. It will start erring. It will start becoming inaccurate. If you submit to it, it becomes more accurate. How do you know the spirit of divination? Number one, wherever the spirit of divination is operating, there will be a drive for money. There will be a drive for money. There will be a quest for money. The lady in Acts of the Apostles, they were making money through her. One of the primary purposes of the spirit of divination is to make money. Is to collect as much money as possible from wherever it is possible. Divination is of the devil. It is satanic. The other one is that for a number of people, the spirit of divination is serviced by immorality. Many of these outstanding diviners, a number of times they may use the name of the Lord in their divination. They may even call Jesus. That's Emmanuel used to call Jesus in his divination. You find out that the more they commit immorality, the more accurate they are. That woman that was doing divination in Acts of Apostles, it was men that were leading her. I don't know what was going on between her and the men. I don't know, I wasn't there. And the Bible didn't tell us specifically. But all the people surrounding her were men. Maybe they were servicing the spirit. In a number of places, it is only in cases of what I call severe, outstanding divination. That one, the power is generated by covenants and concoctions between the man and the devil. But where it is not, it is generated generally by immorality. They sleep with people's wives, they sleep with, some of them is virgins, they have to sleep with. There are some of them who have been popular around the country at various times. And just go and check them out, you will see what I'm telling you. I don't want to mention names. At least on my mind now, I know 4 of them who came to the point of coming out on national television. They were diviners, special diviners, and they serviced the spirit with immorality. And they had money. They had money. In fact, one of them, the daughter started coming to our church, and the daughter told us that the father pregnated her several times. The father was well known, very well known. The man had money. Divination is of the devil, brethren. Strange fire. It is strange fire. The people's lives are dramatic. It is certain circumstances that bring out the depth. When the wind blows and you see the depths of their lives, that's when you will know that this one, I wonder if this one is really a Christian. A number of times, generally they are not. Sometimes there are some who are Christians and they are deceived into divination. The enchantment is almost like it. Enchantment is an ability to remotely control something. Enchantment is involved also in projecting of things. Divination, enchantment can be used to remotely control a snake or remotely control a man. Hypnotism is part of enchantment. And all these things are of the devil. They are satanic. They are not the Spirit of God. Someone is praying for another person. Say in the name of Jesus. Jesus, begin to sleep. 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 And the person begins to sleep. Begins to sleep. It's enchantment. I understand there's a latest one now. So don't follow them. But there's a latest one that some senior pastors take their junior friends who are interested in power to beaches. Some take them to Bar Beach. Some take them to other beaches. And at a particular time, a mermaid comes out of the water. And this person who is looking for power has to have sex with that mermaid. And the mermaid now goes and gets pregnant. The mermaid gets pregnant for that man. So as he now ministers in his church, the mermaid starts giving birth to the people in the church. So the church is filled up. You have a church of 400 people, 350 are not real human beings. They are human beings who have been bewitched. The mermaid draws the people for them. There was one that said, let the devil bring the crowd. Let us convert them. How many of those people can you convert? Strange fire. Our pastor who was pastoring the church that was here, Pastor Tope, he went to preach in one church, the night vigil. He had 2 nights to do vigil for them. The first night, when they finished the vigil, he said he felt so worn out. So he decided to lie down, to sit down on the chair and sleep in the church so that he could drive away when it was like 5:30 or something. And as he sat there, he slept off. Then suddenly he woke up. As he woke up, all the lights in the auditorium were off. There was light only at the altar. And at that altar, when there was light, there were 2 ladies who were stark naked. The leader of the choir and another member of the choir. No dress or nothing or no piece of cloth on them. They were right there at the altar doing rubbish, standing at the altar doing rubbish. He said, no, it's a vision. It's a vision. He said, he closed his eyes to sleep again. He said, no, this is a vision. This cannot be real. So he closed his eyes. When he closed his eyes, but I'm not sleeping. I'm awake. He opened his eyes again. He said the leader of the choir, her name was Bosse. Bosse was there with the other men. They were still there doing what they were doing. Then he said he gathered courage and shouted, Bosse, what are you doing there? They ran quickly. Come here, both of you. With all that noise, nobody in that. There were several people who were sleeping in that hall. Not one woke up. They were all under his spell, enchantment. He was under enchantment, but he couldn't walk because of the power of God in him. For he that is in us is greater than he that is in the world. So he rebuked them. He said, what kind of rubbish? In fact, this one, I can't agree. I'm going to take you to the general overseer. He said, they did like this. He said, is that what you're doing? I will report you to general overseer, not even repentant. He said, because of that, he waited. When it was daybreak, we went to the general overseer. He said, sir, look at what happened though. Look at what happened. When he finished, the man was quiet. He said, sir, I want to be going, but I need a response from you. What are you going to do about those girls? He said, the man looked at him. He said, Pastor, there is nothing I can do about it. There is nothing I can do about it. May God have mercy on us. The congregation was about 150 people. And the leader of most of those people was a 9-year-old girl from all that Trumpet finally found out. There is nothing I can do about it. I would rather resign. Is it not better for me that I went to heaven? That I'm pastoring a church where there is nothing I can do about such a thing. Some of us, sometimes it's just the status that we now follow, the title, the reality of the impact of the Spirit of God we have laid aside. The word says, keep thyself pure. Enchantment is satanic. There was one guy that Redeemed Christian Church of God sacked. Redeemed doesn't sack many pastors. But this one, in order to make things happen, was beginning to bring pigeon into the altar and to slaughter the pigeon at the altar in order to get things to happen. There are different forms of enchantment. It is of the devil. It is satanic. It is strange fire. One day, God will answer strange fire with pure fire. The one that I had in Cameroon just 2 weeks ago that I went there to preach was scary. Some of these things can be so scary. There were some of the cases. You will go and preach for a pastor. They will give you a big bundle of money. And you will seal it in front of you. It may be dollars. Or if it's in Nigeria, it may be 1,000. You look at it, the thing looks like 150,000 or something, and it seals a big bundle. You put it in your pocket. By the time you get to home, you can't find the money. He seals it in front of you so as to confirm that it's in front of you. Enchantment. It's the same thing that they use at airport hotel. Don't you ever go and change your dollar at airport hotel. one of our staff, Ashaulu, first of all, someone was helping me with driving, Edward. Edward went and changed money and said, Daddy, I got it at very good rate. I said, oh, praise God. And then Edward, I said, how much is it? He told me. I said, count it. He counted, he said, Daddy, it has reduced by 5,000. No, I said, count it well. He counted it. And then it has reduced by another 5,000. I said, don't count again, no. Go and use it to buy something. I said, it's like those boys use enchantment. So one day, I gave Ashaulu money to go and change. And then he came back, smiling. He said, Daddy, you gave it to me at something better than the price that was mentioned. I said, I hope you did not go to a boss hotel. He said, that's where I went. That mobile, I said, oh, they have used enchantment. The money will not be complete. Count it only once. Don't count twice. Because every time you count it, the money will reduce. He counted this. And that is true. The money has reduced. But that day, we were doing a vigil, and there was spiritual anger in me. I said, enter the car, let's go. We got there. The guy who changed the money from him, they said he was nowhere to be found. I called them, I said, who is your leader here? Who is your leader here? One of them, the man, said, are you the leader? I want to promise you people something. If you don't return my money, by tomorrow morning, we'll be counting the dead. And if you doubt me, try me. That is, I will not sleep tonight. The kind of prayer that I'm going to pray, I don't usually pray it. But you people have been, this is the second time. The first time you people did it, each time we counted the money, it reduced. But this, our staff, I said, now they didn't know. When you told me he came from you, I told him count, 5,000 will disappear. And that's what happened. Take your money and give me back my money. If not, I will not sleep tonight. By morning, you people, you are destroying Nigeria. By morning, you will start counting the dead. I promise you, it's a promise. Say, but don't talk like that now. Say, how do you want me to talk? If you want to know my name, I'll give you my name. So if you like, when those people die, bring their bodies. I say, since you are their leader, including yourself, so make you look. Make you look good to me. Should I walk and go to help? I said, you better help, because you say you are their leader. He now said, do you have food there? I said, yes. He called somebody and started speaking in Igbo. I don't know whether he knew I was Igbo or not. He told the person, please, let's return their money. What this man is saying here is not good. Please, let's return their money. Then he looked at me. He said, but didn't he count it when we gave it to him? I said, Mr. Man, I'm not here to answer you whether they counted it or not. You know what you people did. If you want, let me live here. If I live here, you will leave this place. By force. My name is Charles Ajomo. So that is not so. So took your money back, give us something. You gave me back my money. Enchantment. My wife went to that same place at the time. She wanted to change $50. They took the dollar from her. And after, they returned it to her. So she left. We gave it to her, she put it in her purse. And she left. And now, when she now wanted to bring it out, the dollar had disappeared. She drove back to that place, went to the same man, said, give me my money. The man said, madam, Your money that I gave you in your presence. I say, give me my money. Oh. The money you gave me has disappeared. How is that my fault? Say, I said, give me my money, I will curse you. And at that time, we didn't have money in the house. She said, this is the only money remaining for myself and my children to eat. And you have taken it. Give me my money. Oh. If you don't give me my money, I will curse you. The man opened his money, brought out $50, gave it to her. Some of these things are even done inside the church. It's enchantment. It's of the devil. It is satanic. Then the manipulations, it's a form of witchcraft. You whisper here, you whisper there, you look for how to make things go your way. You are chief lobbyist. You lobby this person, lobby that, lobby the pastor, you get close to him, you wriggle into. You are a witch, you are a wizard. If you are doing that, manipulating church things, making them, wanting them to go your way, you are either a witch if you are a woman, or you are a wizard if you are a man. It is of the devil. And those who want to impose themselves with vain glory, want to project yourself, promote yourself. It is strange fire, strife, malicious demonstration or malicious communication to obstruct another person's progress. It's strange fire. And why I'm crying out on these things is so that God does not answer strange fire with pure fire one day and somebody dies suddenly. Disorderliness. Disorderliness is, like I put here, all prevalent display of mental, emotional, or volitional attitude, language, or lifestyle that generates confusion or the distortion of the peace and unity of the assembly or organization or Christian organization. Disorderliness. These things are strange fire. God is not the author of confusion. The one we had mentioned before at the beginning, the delivery of the letter, where many people preach with a mixture. You mix your emotion and the spirit. Sometimes it's even your emotion alone. Strange fire. Preach a pure sermon. Let God give you a message. A message you deliver from your very heart. Don't preach to impress people. Preach to influence people. The orator speaks to impress. The oracle speaks to influence. Be a man sent from God. Be a woman sent from God. Speak to influence. Speak to bring a change in the hearts and in the lives of the people. Then you will grow in ministry. Strange fire in the church may be caused out of ignorance. Sometimes it may be caused out of over familiarity with God. It doesn't matter, God won't do anything. That God won't do anything, I mean. God won't do anything. Let's do it. And can you imagine that stupid one that said, let the devil bring the people, then we'll convert them to God? Can you imagine such stupidity? Doesn't that person have a mental problem? That person has mental problem. Let Satan bring the crowd, then let me convert them to God. I think he thinks that the devil is an idiot, or that the devil is a fool. The devil is a calculated businessman, very calculated, shrewd businessman who knows what he's doing. And he operates by baits. Gives you a bait because you want to catch a fish, you add bait. The fish comes for the bait, and the hook hooks on, you pull it out of the water. And then some don't believe difference between what God is doing, and to me, those people are not born again. There are many people who claim to be born again, but they are not born again. Strange fire is a terrible thing. I want us to hate it. To hate it with a perfect hatred. With all our hearts. Let's hate strange fire. Let's embrace pure fire. Let's repent of any form of strange fire. Let's humble ourselves before God. Let's see God's face and get a message from the Lord and deliver the message to the people according as the Lord moves us. As the Spirit of God moves us, let's deliver the message and leave God to settle the results. We don't have to generate results. The most important result is the one that is acknowledged by God. Let us pray. I'll live for Jesus, day after day. I'll live for Jesus, let come what may. The Holy Spirit, I will obey. I'll live for Jesus, day after day. I'll live for Jesus, day after day. I'll live for Jesus, let come what may. The Holy Spirit, I will